Ah, yes, it is a good day when we have breakfast whiskey. Thank you, Makers46. So what do we have today? Baldur's Gate 3 mod that made fan-favorite lesbian romance heterosexual removed after backlash. Now, without reading any further into this, just from the headline, 100% of you can guess why the mod was banned. It's because Nexus mod is an ideologically captured hellhole run by a bunch of f***s. Because as you can see here, their response to removing it sounds like, well, typical hollowed-out corporate drones. We are for nauseating cringe that everyone hates, catering to globalist zealotry. If we think someone is uploading a mod on our site with the intent to deliberately be against said cringe, then we will take action against it. The same goes for people attempting to troll other users with mods deliberately to cause a rise. Let's be real, that line is vague as all hell. We aren't the authority of what others can and cannot mod. That last line is kind of strange. Directly, no, but you are arguably the biggest modding host site in the world, so naturally the regime of the Disturbed is going to sink its rainbow-tainted fangs into it. Now, the lady in question responsible for the mod's creation, she was actually on one of my videos sharing her own about why the mod was made, so do check it out, it's linked down below. Her being smeared as a white supremacist, naturally fascist, you know, the cliche'd BS labels that's more empty than a leftist noggin, makes even less sense considering she's a Muslim. And considering the Herculean effort her and the team put into the mod, to call it a troll is so insulting and makes her accusers look, well, more insane than they already are. This is a political hit job. I mean, look at these articles this mod spawned. Is insane, ain't it? Not to mention, this was speculated I think before this mod even came to pass, and no doubt before Sweet Baby Inc. got their glitter-drenched infecting hands all over Baldur's Gate 3, as the lady in question mentions in her video, the files for Sir Aylin was largely already there. Again, Sweet Baby Inc. or something clearly did this for ESG reasons. All the mod did was reanimate dormant original game files. So why did the girl make the mod in the first place? Simple, she wanted a strong traditional male character. Cause guess what, it turns out Muslim women do not like progressive politics. Shocking, isn't it? I would never have guessed that in a million years. I mean, this is sort of the norm for anyone outside of the progressive bubble, almost like it's natural or something, but you know, these people never let facts get in the way of the message, but anyway. Also, bollocks Nexus mods. As the video points out, the mod was one of the most popular mods for the game within mere hours of its uploading. It's only until some spiteful minion on Reddit went and complained about it, and you know, these people will simply run to the cesspool of an echo chamber to justify anything they do, because the like counter of their chosen justification is always mentioned in the articles. It's very much the same way democratic politics run when they advocate for any policy. They will tout public support if they have the numbers, and make up some flimsy excuse about protecting minorities if they don't. Again, I read the news all the time. I know the tricks by now. So let's talk politics here, because this is what this all boils down to. Because the rational side of your brain would no doubt make fun of the fact that these cretins call themselves diverse and inclusive, and then would exclude things that mod and induce more options for the consumer, which is what the product is supposed to be for. But, like I said before, they don't make products for you. No, they make piss-poor propaganda aimed at you. And then naturally invoke the Third Reich when you openly denounce it as cringe and gay, because these people are seriously stale and boring and we're all still stuck in World War II mindset. In many ways, it's actually embarrassingly primitive. But as is the case with all of leftism, you must look beyond the language and realize the beast you're actually dealing with. It's easier when you look at this economically and recognize diversity and inclusivity are not definitional words when it comes to politics. No, it's a brand. And said brand is trying to monopolize the market to exclude anything that isn't their brand. Like, really, it's an attempt at, well, frankly, cultural imperialism. The goal of this is to remove all trace of European Christendom. That is the goal of this oligarchical scheme. And don't think just because it sounds comically villainous they won't try. As a matter of fact, that it is so comically villainous is what allows it to be taken less seriously and get dismissed, because the wackiness makes it sound absurd. Now let me explain the hollow vacuousness of the sloganeering and why the backlash to it, because one of the things I detest most about this piss-poor propaganda is that it's really boring. Like, say what you like about the propaganda of the Nazis and the Soviet Union, but at least there's a semblance of believability to it. Trying to topple an evil monarch, the workers must unite, or Germany has been besmirched by wicked forces and the pride of a nation must be restored to its former glory. There's a certain galvanizing positivity in those kinds of messages, whereas this has none of that. There's no positivity at all because its goals are hellishly evil and anti-human. Couple that with all the tedium of being poked with a stick going, come on, like me or I'll call you a fascist. Fuck off, you're annoying. And that's really it. Propaganda, you suck. You're boring and we will never like you. You're like a 300-pounder calling yourself sexy. No one is going to believe that ever. That is the absurdity of what you're trying to push here. The other thing, and this needs to be explained, is how this manifests in the real world. Well, at least according to me anyway. I myself, I have come to associate anything that is in my past or kin as a threat, because this force has managed to turn anything that isn't that into tainted vessels that carry a politically charged poison. It's not the variables that we have a problem with. No, it's that they're now a Trojan horse carrying something nefarious, a la the political brand. People had no problems with the vessels before, it's that they are now instruments of war carrying a tainted scourge, and what people wish to purge is the politics. It just so happens the purging of the politics will go through the vessels. This is what has annoyed me the most, is that these idiots have made actual diversity an eyesore, a blemish that now generates an enormous amount of politically charged zealotry that causes people to become fastidiously skeptical in ways they wouldn't have before. Take GTA 6's trailer, for example, right? Has a female lead. Apparently, who knows? But the trailer leads with the female, the male is sort of in the background, comparatively speaking, and there's far too much of them. The degeneracy is too much. Couple that with the current political climate, you have people already tails up, red flags all over the shop, calling it woke garbage, and it very well might be. But myself, being a fan of GTA, I have been for nearly 2 decades now, I was looking back at this and thinking, well, GTA 3 had Catalina, the female Latina antagonist, who's a cutthroat asshole, Maria, who's Italian, who the protagonist ends up shooting because she won't shut the hell up, and there's the Yakuza lass, who's naturally Asian. Vice City, you had Cortez's daughter, Mercedes, she's Spanish, Auntie Polly, the Haitian lady, and Kenny Sucks, the rising silicone star. Right, in San Andreas, you have CJ's sister Kendall, she's black, Catalina again, the girlfriends that are part of the storyline is Denise, she's black, and Millie, who's part of the casino missions, she's an Asian mix, I think. It's only in 4 where they had only one ethnicity, I think. Except for the drug lady who sells coke, come to think of it. But you have the one girl, Michelle, who ends up being a Fed. Pretty sure her name was Karen, wasn't it? Which, if you factor in today's politics, holy crap, that is hilarious on so many levels. Then there was Packy's sister, she's Irish, Roman's girlfriend, Mallory, who I think was Puerto Rican, isn't she? And in GTA 5, I don't recall any female characters of note, they're just kind of meh. Except the lawyer who meets her end at the hands of a jet engine, which I really didn't mind because she is hands down the most annoying female character in the entire franchise's history. So when I look at that, and I see the trailer for 6, ideally this would be perfectly in line with Rockstar's history. Nothing about it is out of the ordinary from their past storytelling. But now, thanks to this endlessly irritating political infection, we're all looking at it with red flags. Like, really, I also think the modern return to Vice City is nowhere near as desired as a return to the 1980s. Because people like the aesthetics, people like the style, the clothing, the drugs, the music. It's the nostalgic factor. Like, who the hell wants to play a game set in the present day? It's boring. Modernity sucks. There is nothing exciting about our time at all because it's degenerate and politically heavy. We play games to escape politics, not be saturated in it. Like, here's my take. If you kept the Bonnie and Clyde duo, but had the male as the protagonist lead instead, kept the races the same, went back to the 1980s, got rid of the demographics, went more, Cuban heavy because it is Miami after all, I don't think anyone would care that there's a female sidekick, in all honesty. Again, normally no one would give a crap about any of this. First it was Claude in 3D, then you had Tommy who got a voice, CJ was the ghetto gangster, Nico was Eastern European, 5 had 3 protagonists, and now this change is met with massive skepticism, thanks to politics which normally there wouldn't be any. But now we're going, oh gosh, she's gonna be a cliched, boring fucking girl boss, isn't she? This is gonna suck, woke garbage, fuck GTA, I'm out. That reaction is a lot more common than you would think. Now, naturally, it is GTA after all. It will sell like hotcakes because the name itself carries a prestige that I think is frankly unrivaled in terms of franchise, and people who will kiss its ass no matter how bad it is. Hell, I think even 5 suffered from this, because I played 5, and it's GTA after all. It had some nice features, but the game, despite being huge, is really hollow. The voice acting is stellar, I'll give it that, but the radio stations and story was really subpar. And in my opinion, it was the structure. You already knew the plot points and betrayals from the get-go. There was no surprise. None of it had the punch of Lance betraying you, or finding out Ryder and Smoke were selling you out, or even just Catalina shooting you. It's simply 3 guys get pulled together to rob shit to avoid prison time. That's basically the plotline. The rest of the stuff is just irrelevant window dressing that has nothing to do with anything. Anyway, I've rambled enough for one video. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.